Welcome to This Week in High School Sports, sponsored by Red Onion Burgers in Mountlake Terrace. And as always, we'd like to thank Sean Richards over at Red Onion for his continued support of This Week in High School Sports. Teresa Whipple is off today, so I'm going to go ahead and jump right into our sports this week. We're going to start off by talking football. Two of our Edmonds School District teams picking up victories on Friday night. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks on the road up in Bellingham, defeating Seahome 19-16. It is Mountlake Terrace's third consecutive victory. They're 2-0 in league play right now. Nice shout out to a couple of players. Dominique Latham, who returned the opening kickoff of the game for a touchdown, and Brandon Bach, who also had 2 touchdowns in the first half, as Mountlake Terrace again picks up a very crucial victory. And they are currently atop the Northwest Conference Lake Division standings. They're tied with Bellingham, a team they play 2 weeks from now. But first, they've got to go through the Blaine Borderites Friday night, 5 p.m. That is homecoming night for Mountlake Terrace over at Edmonds Stadium. Another team that had a great weekend, the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors, picking up their first victory of the season, a 33-7 win over Linwood. And in that game, we have our first Action Jackson Plumbing Player of the Week. We're going to give this to running back Capasio Cherry, 224 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. We tried to get Capasio into the studio this weekend, but we weren't able to do it. He eluded us much the same way he was eluding defensive tacklers for Linwood this week. So Capasio, for your efforts, you get a t-shirt, and Capasio continuing to have a nice season. His second consecutive 200-yard rushing game, so congratulations to him. A few other games we want to mention coming up for football this week. We already talked about Mountlake Terrace's homecoming. Also at Edmonds Stadium on Friday night, Meadowdale's homecoming at 8 p.m. They're going to host the Everett Seagulls over there, so make sure you get out to those 2 games. Our other 2 teams, Edmonds-Woodway, will be taking on Snohomish up at Snohomish Veteran Memorial Stadium on Friday night, and Linwood will be over at Shoreline Stadium taking on Shorewood. Enough about football. Let's talk a little volleyball for a minute, and let's talk about the Mountlake Terrace Hawks. They got their first victory of the season on Wednesday, a 3-0 match against Sammamish. And for their efforts, we'd like to congratulate them by bringing 2 of their players into the studio for an interview. Here's a conversation we had earlier with Isabel and Carly. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks volleyball team picked up their first win of the season on Wednesday, defeating Sammamish in 3 straight sets. And with us right now, the co-captains of the team, Isabel Ong, who is a junior, and Carly Rismoen, who is a senior. Girls, first of all, congratulations on the win on Wednesday. And before we ask any other questions, I got to have a little fun with you here. 10 girls on the varsity roster. Isabel, you must feel kind of left out because 7 of the girls have a name that starts with the letter K, the first name.
I know.
Is it a little confusing for you and the rest of the other girls when you're trying to call girls out as to who they are?
Especially because we have 2 Kayleys, too. And when they play back row, they're like right next to each other.
Yeah.
So
at that point, are we using last names or?
No, we haven't figured that. We probably should. We haven't figured that out yet.
And Carly, I've got to think that, do the other Ks recognize that? I mean, I can't be the only one that scrolled down the roster and noticed this for the first time.
No, we've definitely talked about it.
It's been a conversation piece.
Because we were going to say we're going to call her Kizabel and like.
And give her a nickname of some sort. We should mention the coach is Chrissy, which also starts with a K, so a bunch of those. So let's get back to talking about Wednesday night and the victory over Sammamish. Carly, tell me a little bit about that particular match. Did you know early on that, hey, this might be our night?
Yeah, kind of, because for the Marysville-Getchell game, we went into that game just thinking we were going to win because they were 0-0, but we were also 0-0. So we just went into that game with the wrong mindset. So with the next game, we just went in with a totally different attitude. We worked hard for every point, and then it just paid off.
And Isabel, could you tell right away that maybe the team was playing better that night? Did there seem to be a better chemistry amongst the players?
Yeah, I think we all pretty much, like Carly said, like we were fighting for every point. We kept our energy high. We didn't let the other team like get a run or anything like that. We didn't get stuck in a rut. We just pretty much we persisted throughout the whole game.
As far as the team's psyche and knowing that you've lost a few matches early in the season, sometimes that's a hard thing to get away from and get out of that hole. Carly, is this something that you guys needed just in terms of just from a positive motivator standpoint and just getting a little momentum? How important was it to finally get that victory, and what did it mean to the team?
It was pretty important. We were super excited, like the game point in the third set. It was especially cool because we beat them in 3 sets rather than having to go to 4 or 5. because that was way different compared to any other game.
So let's find out about this team a little bit. We'll start off by talking about each other for a moment. Isabel, tell me a little bit about the senior co-captain here. What's it like playing with Carly, and what does she bring to this team?
Okay, yeah. So Carly's like our setter, so she's a really important part of our team, and we can always count on her to get really good sets up for our hitters. And she's always got something really good to say in our huddle, like something about how we can improve in our game and whatnot.
So exactly what you want from a co-captain then, right?
Yeah.
And Carly, tell me about your co-captain, Isabel. What's it like to play with a junior?
She's always super hardworking at practice, which is important because you play how you practice. Also, she's just, I don't know, she's always super positive. Sometimes I kind of just say what's on my mind. That's not always like the best thing to say. So she always just comes through with something positive to say.
So it's kind of a nice balance for the two of you then.
Yeah.
And you being only one of 3 seniors on this team, what's that been like for you? Do you find yourself kind of more in a leadership role just because of the age, or is it?
Yeah.
What are the younger players like to work with?
It's pretty fun. Most of the teams really, like, they can step up. A lot of people on our team like to be leaders. So I don't feel like too above anyone else, I guess, if that's the right thing to say.
Sure.
We're all pretty equal, I'd say.
And who have been some of the other key players, maybe for instance against Sammamish the other night? Isabel, maybe give me one other name of somebody who was playing a key role in that game.
I'd say probably Kaylee Wagner. She's one of our outsides, and she plays all the way around. And she's really consistent, and she always pretty much just works her hardest.
And what about you, Carly? Do you have anybody you want to mention? Maybe in
I'd
particular?
say Kaylee also, just because she's always my outlet. Like, I can always trust her to get the ball over. She's really smart when she plays. She won't go kill out the ball when it's not the right time. She always has a good idea for what she's going to do.
And this is a team, it sounds like, that has a lot of experience too, right? A lot of club players on this team. Does that help? I mean, just in terms of knowing that they've got the skill sets to maybe help you to get where you need to be later on in the season?
Yeah, we're all really competitive, so we all, like, know what it takes to win a game. We don't always want it. We're not always the best at, like, putting that out, I guess, because when it comes to the game, sometimes we don't always connect, I guess. But, like, playing club, that's a big commitment and, like, a big deal, so we all kind of have that experience.
And the one other thing I noticed when we were looking at the schedule, and I think, Isabel, you might have pointed this out to me before we rolled the cameras, you guys haven't had exactly the easiest of schedules so far, right? A lot of competition that some of these teams haven't lost very often yet, right?
Yeah, 3 of the teams we've played have been undefeated so far. I think Arlington, Snohomish, and
Stanwood.
Stanwood. And we're playing Oak Harbor this
On Tuesday
coming
night,
week.
yeah.
And they're also undefeated. So it's not like, we've had pretty much like a hard schedule to work with, but even though we've lost a lot of games, we've still been able to compete a lot with the other teams. And I think last year we had pretty much a pretty similar schedule. We started out playing the really good teams, and we ended up coming in the end going to districts. So hopefully we can do that this year too, turn things around. And
Yeah, maybe not ideal to play the top-heavy schedule early in the season rather than late,
Right.
but Carly, I've got to think also it maybe in some ways makes the team better, right?
Yeah.
I mean, going up against some of these top opponents and having to kind of work through it. And
Yeah, especially being, like, 2A and playing all the 3A teams.
so we just mentioned Oak Harbor on Tuesday. That's a home match. You play Edmonds-Woodway also at home on Thursday.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, Isabel, I'll ask you, what is it like playing in the Terraceum at Mountlake Terrace High School? Is it a lot more enjoyable to play at home than it is on the road?
It's nice to know that you're playing in your own gym. You're a little bit more comfortable. You don't have to deal with like other fans, like heckling you or like whatever, like booing you and stuff. So it's nice to like be at your own like home school and whatnot.
And Carly, what about this matchup on Thursday? I know you don't want to look past Oak Harbor, an undefeated team, but anytime it's Edmonds School District schools going against each other, it's always a rivalry. And it sounds like the Mountlake Terrace Edmonds-Woodway volleyball matchup is no different, right?
Yeah, we have a lot of friends on the Woodway team and like club teammates and stuff. So it's kind of more of like a fun game, but also like I guess just friendly competition because we really want to win. So.
And what about last year's matchup? Talk about that a little
Yeah,
bit.
last year's did it go to 5?
Yeah, we went to 5 last year.
Yeah,
it
and
was a
it
really
was
good
so
game.
close. I think it was like the ending set was like
It was like
a
win
point. It was
by
like,
2.
Yeah, it was like 25-23 or something like that, or it went over. I don't really remember, but. That's
So as a senior, your last chance to get the Warriors. So I've got to think are you kind of excited about this
Yeah.
one on Thursday?
Because I really wanted to win last year, it's kind of upsetting. But
Oh, I can imagine. And it sounds like it's a friendly rivalry, though, right?
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah,
of the girls play club together. Is that right?
yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. So plenty of opportunities to get out and watch this team this week, Tuesday and Thursday at home. Tell me a little bit about Chrissy Kane, first-year head coach, but Carly, not the first time you've ever met or worked with Chrissy, correct?
No, she's never been my coach before because I was on varsity last year and then she was JV. But she's super nice. It's a lot different coaching style than we're used to because last year our coach was a lot more strict. I don't know. Yeah, it's a big difference just compared to last year, but I really like her. She's really nice all the time.
And Isabel, is it easier for you knowing that the first-year coach already knows the girls a little bit, knows the personnel? She was the JV coach last year, so even if she wasn't your coach directly, she was in the program. Did that make that transition a little bit easier?
Yeah, it's nice because she's been in our program for about 3 years. So I've never had her as a coach, but I'm like, we know each other. And some of the girls on the team she's coached before. So it's nice just to have like a familiar face, like not like someone like completely new be our head coach.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And what's the team like together? Is there a bonding moments? I guess team dinner this weekend? Is that what I heard, Carly?
Yeah, we had breakfast for dinner last night.
Breakfast for dinner. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So is it a team that hangs out together a lot? Is it a close team? Would you say?
Yeah, we have a lot of like friend groups within the team outside of volleyball.
Yeah. And we're trying to make like team bondings pretty regular, like having like dinner and whatnot.
So it's not just bus rides and practice. It's something maybe outside of there a little bit. Kind of keep it loose a little. So again, Carly, you're a senior, so this is your final year. Any ambitions to play after this year, or is this going to be pretty much it for you?
I'm probably going to be it.
Wrap it up. And so so she wants to end the season strong is what we're basically saying. And Isabel, for you, I've got to ask because we did manage to get this out of you when we were talking before the cameras were rolling. You just kind of by chance mentioned you're going to be going to Puerto Rico this summer, but you went to Nicaragua last year?
Yeah, well, a couple years ago.
Tell me about that. What was the reasoning behind that trip, and what did you do?
Yeah, so I went with like my church's youth group. We went like as a mission trip, and it was just a really good experience. Like I don't know, like helping people out and whatnot. It was really rewarding.
And do we know what we're doing in Puerto Rico this summer, or is it?
I think it's pretty much it's gonna be similar to what I did before, but just like they had that like hurricane, so probably like clean up with that and like rebuilding.
Very good. So a lot of great work being done on and off the court. And again, a nice 3-0 victory over Sammamish on Wednesday. Girls, best of luck this week against Oak Harbor and Edmonds-Woodway. Again, if anybody wants to get out to the match on Thursday, that's the big one, 7 o'clock at home at Mountlake Terrace High School. Mountlake Terrace versus Edmonds-Woodway. You can watch the two co-captains here along with their team. Best of luck on the rest of the season, and thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks again to Isabel and to Carly for coming out and doing the interview with us this week. And best of luck to the Mountlake Terrace Hawks volleyball team throughout the season. We're not done talking about volleyball yet, though. A few other results we want to mention from this week. The Meadowdale Mavericks picking up 2 victories over the week. They defeated Marysville Pilchuck on Monday. And then on Thursday, they fell down to Everett 2-1 before winning the final 2 sets and taking the victory. And in that match, Ada Hall, a sophomore setter, had 32 assists and 23 digs. And Ada, for your efforts, we're going to give you our Action Jackson Plumbing Player of the Week. Congratulations to you and to your Maverick teammates for those victories. Also on the week, Edmonds-Woodway picking up a nice 3-2 victory over Marysville Getchell on Monday. Linwood beating Everett 3-0 on Tuesday. We should also point out that if you want to see all 4 of our teams in action, or at least you want to pick and choose the 2 you want to watch, they're all going to be going head-to-head against one another on Thursday night. Edmonds-Woodway will be over at Mountlake Terrace, as we heard in the interview with the girls. Also, Linwood will be at Meadowdale, so certainly a couple of options for you if you want to see volleyball on Thursday nights locally, and if you want to see 2 of our teams in play. Other sports that took place over the week. Girls soccer, Edmonds-Woodway continues to roll. A 5-0 victory over Marysville Getchell on Tuesday. Edmonds is now 6-1 in conference play for the year, 7-2 overall. Warriors always strong out on the pitch, and this is no different this year. A couple other victories we want to point out. Linwood defeated Everett 3-2 on Tuesday, and Meadowdale defeated Everett 2-0 on Thursday. So certainly our soccer program's doing well right now. A few other big games coming up in soccer this week. On Tuesday night, Linwood will be hosting Snohomish. Edmonds-Woodway will be hosting Stanwood. And then on Thursday night, both of those 2 teams will be at home once again. This time, Edmonds-Woodway hosting Mountlake Terrace and Linwood hosting Meadowdale. So plenty of soccer action going on through the first week of October. And then we're going to talk a little tennis for a moment. It continues to be the Edmonds-Woodway Warrior season. However, their toughest battle of the year took place this past Thursday. 2 first-place teams going at it for the Wesco 3A South. And Edmonds-Woodway coming away victorious with a 4-3 win over the Thunderbirds, running their record to 10 wins and 0 losses on the season as a team. And a special shout out to Will Molinaro, who is having a fantastic year so far for Edmonds-Woodway. Their number 1 singles player defeated the number 1 singles player for Shorewood, Andrew Conter, and Will's victory was a 6-love, 6-2 straight set. So Will, congratulations, and a great job by the Warriors as always. And now we're going to talk a little swimming. It is swimming season for the ladies right now. The Meadowdale Mavericks getting off to a nice start. We brought 2 of their players and their head coach into the studio to talk Mav swimming. Here's the conversation we had with Coach as well as Jersey and Grace. It's swimming season, and joining us right now from the Meadowdale Mavericks, 2 juniors and a coach, Jersey Razzano, Grace Morgan, and Coach Julie Wakeman. And we're going to start off by asking Jersey about her name. Razzano. It sounds like you've gone by both over time, right?
Yes, I have. Most of my family pronounces it as Razzano, but my friends say Razzano, so it's either or.
And it sounds like you didn't even know it was Razzano until recently, right?
No, I went to New Jersey where most of my family is, and that's what they told me.
They corrected you quickly.
Yeah.
So you can call her either one. Apparently both of them work. Whatever you call them, call them out winners. That both of these 2 ladies had a very strong season as sophomores last year and are looking to do even better this year. Coach, I'll start off with you. First-year coach at Meadowdale, I might add. Tell me what it's like to work with these 2 young ladies and what kind of swimmers they are, what kind of teammates, and what kind of people are they?
They're pretty amazing. They're both very strong swimmers, very good leaders, and very positive. They bring a great positive atmosphere. They're always the first ones in the pool. They're always the first ones getting all the girls up cheering. They're pretty amazing. I'm very blessed to be coaching my first year with these 2.
Leading by example, then.
Yes.
That's always nice. and I can tell you right now, before the cameras were rolling, we were having a lot of fun talking amongst each other. So this is a fun group, too. Grace and Jersey, I'll ask both of you, what's it been like with first-year coach? Or Grace, maybe I'll start with you on that one. I know we were talking earlier about team chemistry, and you said this group seems to be closer together this year, and maybe coaches had something to do with that?
Oh, for sure. I think teams like closeness and energy really depends on coaches and how they coach and go about seeing the girls. And I think her and our assistant coach do an amazing job of that, and they're a great team, and I think great friends too. So it really helps us all feel pretty excited about swimming.
And Jersey, for you, does it have a different feel this year, just the team in general, in terms of how
The
everybody's...
team has been very close this year, and a really nice environment. We're all really super spirited, and the coaches do a really amazing job making sure that we're cheering for each other, make sure that they're like watching us swim, and make sure we're doing a really good job and give us a high five at the end of all our races.
A high five at the end of all the races. And who are the other coaches or other coach?
My assistant coach is Sam Tesh, and she is an art teacher at Meadowdale High School.
Okay.
And this is her 3rd year assistant coaching. She assistant coached for Meadowdale, then went to Linwood, and now is back with Meadowdale.
And so is that your philosophy to keep things positive? What
Yes.
What do you try to bring to the pool
I am
every
all
day?
about positive. I think you could have the worst team in the world, but if you have a positive atmosphere and the girls are having fun, that's what high school sports are about.
And I see 2 heads shaking yes over here. So, does it help in terms of maybe some of the girls who might be on the fence from year to year? Do I want to swim? Do I not want to swim?
We have a lot, it's non-cut, so we do have a lot of girls that have not been on a swim team before, and we have probably a quarter of our team that's never swam on a swim team, and they've improved so much, and they're having fun. So if you can bring girls that have never swam and are having fun, then job is successful.
Well, tell me about that a little bit, maybe from the girl standpoint. Grace, I know you've been swimming for a very long time, right? Mm-hmm. So as somebody who's been swimming competitively, both in high school and at the club level, when you have some of these new girls turn out, and some of them probably are working on form, just trying to figure out where to go and when to jump into the pool, I mean, do you find yourself in a leadership position just in that regard?
I think definitely, yeah. I think Jersey and myself both try really hard to make sure that the girls are having fun, but also they're learning. So it's pretty cool when the girls come up to you and you're like, can you show me how you did that? Or can you help me with this for both of us, with our different strokes. So I think that's pretty cool.
Jersey, do you enjoy working with new swimmers also? Is it kind of...
Yeah, I really enjoy helping other people with their turns or just their strokes, and sometimes I'll see some girls and I'll be like, oh hey, maybe do this and try it, and then they seem to like it and everything, and so it's a nice feeling to help someone on the team.
Definitely. It's a pretty close-knit team, and I have a feeling the two of you seem like you're fairly close as well.
Yeah.
The Edmonds School District championships last year, Jersey, you took first in the 500 free. Grace, you were second. What is it like when you're competing against each other, and what is it like when one of you defeats the other one? Is it a little bit easier to take when you're in second place, first place is a teammate, or is there a nice competitive balance there between being supportive and wanting to beat the other one? Jersey, maybe I'll start with you. What's that like when you're going against your teammate?
I'm very supportive of Grace and everything. I really like racing against her. She's a really nice teammate to race against. It's really hard competitor. So it's a nice feeling to race against her.
And Grace, same question for you. What is it like when you're going head-to-head with a teammate?
I think it's really nice because no matter what, at the end you're both really excited for one another,
Yeah.
no matter what the time was, no matter what the placement was, And I think it's just more drive for the both of you, You want you want yourself to get better, and you want your teammate to get better, who's also your friend. So,
Yeah.
and it's nice because as friends, we know how each other works and we know what works for each other. So it's definitely a lot of fun.
And of course, one of the goals is to not only do well at the Edmonds School District meet, but ultimately you want to get to state.
Mm-hmm.
Grace, I know you had that experience last year as a sophomore. Jersey, as a freshman, you swam there, right?
Yes.
So, Coach, from your standpoint, and I'll ask the girls obviously afterwards too, but what are your goals for these two for the season? Where do you aspire to see them get to by the time it's all said and done?
Our ultimate goal is to get to state. I think they both have a really solid chance in the 200 free, and I know Grace 500 free and Jersey the 100 back, and I think that's what we're going to focus on the rest of the season to get them to that point.
When we talk about specific events, why those in particular? What is it about those that you mentioned?
They both have done really well so far in the season in those events. Our relays are we're just moving parts to figure out how to get some relays to state, but for these girls with their individual events, I think they have a very solid chance.
Grace, do you have one particular event that you enjoy more than others?
500.
500?
For
What
high
is it
school
about the
season.
500?
I really enjoy the long distance. Gives me a chance, to stretch out and to find a groove, kind of, get into this kind of mode. And I train for it on my club team all year, so I just prefer it a lot more than a sprint event. So.
And Jersey, what about you? Do you have a favorite event?
The 2 free.
No, it's the shorter event of the two. So, as opposed to Grace's 500, what is it about the sprinting events that I shouldn't say the sprinting events. It's still a 200, but what is it about a shorter event that you like more than the 500?
I like it that I can keep a nice pace of it, and it's just a really nice race, and I get in the zone with that race very quickly. I trained for that all last year on my club team, and I dropped a lot of time, and I kind of drifted away from the 5. I was really good at the 5 with Grace, but I kind of drifted away. But I'm glad I'm sticking with the 2.
Very good. And again, it's a team of 25-ish swimmers this year, Coach. Tell me about your team captains this year.
Our team captains are 2 seniors, Sarah Robbins and Samantha Moore, and they've been really good. They've taken the role. They kind of just got thrown into it, but they've taken the role strongly and been super supportive and created a bunch of bonding events for the girls and made that close connection with all the team. So they've done a good job.
And what kind of a bonding team are we? I mean, Grace, in terms of what have the events been so far? What does this team do together?
We've had pasta parties. That's our big thing that we like to do. What else? I think that's about, we really like to have dinners together because that's just a chance to get together outside of school and swim and eat really good food and, just have a good time, talk about the meet the next day, and just keep a really positive and fun attitude. So.
Jersey, is it important to have bonding moments with teammates and just kind of get to know them outside the pool too?
Yeah, it's really nice. We get to know how everybody is as a person and not just at the pool and at school. we had a pool party one time, and that was really fun, just seeing how everybody is just together and everything. So it's really nice.
A pool party, meaning at the pool?
We had it at Samantha Moore's house. And
Okay.
it was nice.
So it's not as though
really
you're
fun.
jumping into the swimming pool at the
Yeah.
Mountlake Terrace or Linwood, and I was going to say more of the same, right? Coach, when are you going to start getting invited to these parties, by the way?
I've been invited since the start.
You haven't gone to one yet.
We're planning on doing like a bonding event at the Meadowdale's gym, like a movie night kind of thing. So I'll probably go to that
You
one.
get roped into that one.
Yeah, pizza. So
And we did mention first-year coach for you.
Yes.
Now, you teach what during the...
I teach pre-K and early childhood education PE. So I go from 5-year-olds to high school girls.
Yeah, what's that like?
It's fun. It's an adventure every day. I mean, it's a nice. I love teaching the younger kids, but I love coming and hanging out with the girls every day. They make my day so much better.
Is there ever a moment when Coach shows up and she's still kind of in 5-year-old talk mode, and do we ever notice that, or does she make that transition pretty quickly? She does okay?
I think she's pretty good about making that transition, but she likes to tell us about her days, and we find it very enjoyable to share that.
When you're working around 5-year-olds, there's some stories, I'm sure.
Yeah.
As far as swimming dedication, and I think, Grace, when you and your sister were in here 2 years ago, I think we had a similar conversation. You're not just jumping in the pool for an hour or two after school and that's it. I mean, you're training a lot, especially with your club team too. Tell me a little bit about your training regimen right now. How often are you swimming? Because you're doing club and high school at the same time, right?
Yeah, so it's an hour and a half with high school, and then I drive from whatever pool we're at to Mill Creek, and then it's an hour of lifting, and then about an hour and a half to 2 hours of swimming.
So by the time it's all said and done, what time are you finished at on a day?
I usually get home around 7:30 every night.
And we're going to school at 7 o'clock or whatever in the morning, and so it's a long day.
It's a really long
And
day.
weekends as well?
On Saturdays, I swim 3 hours every morning, and then I work at the pool that I swim at for about 5 hours. So, but I get Sundays off, so that's pretty nice.
Okay, so a lot of dedication there. Jersey, what's your training like? A similar story?
I go to high school practice, and then whatever pool we're at, I drive to Mariner High School or Snohomish, depending where I want to practice at that day, pretty much. And then I swim about 2.5 hours to 3 hours.
So, Coach, knowing that you've got two girls that they're practicing with you and they're going right to another practice afterwards, does it change the way that you work with them? I mean, do you?
They are the two hardest working swimmers I've met. So they will, no matter if my workout's difficult or easy, they will do it, and they will do it full 100% effort every single day.
And we should point out too some challenges with swimming after school.
Yes.
You share a pool, and there aren't very many lanes to begin with.
There
right?
are not. We either are at Linwood Pool or Mountlake Terrace Pool, and we either are sharing it with Linwood High School, Edmonds-Woodway High School, or Mountlake Terrace High School. So we put 25 girls in 3 lanes.
So that's a lot of
It's an
that's a
adventure.
lot of girls in very few lanes. So I can imagine it is. As far as looking forward here, we talked about wanting to get to state. When you think about your own goals, and when you first of all, do we write goals out at the beginning of a season, or are they just kind of in the back of your head? And if so, maybe Grace, I'll start with you. What exactly is your goal this year? Realistically, what do you hope to accomplish by the end of the year?
Realistically, I would hope to make it to state with Jersey by my side, and in the 500 specifically. It'd be great if I made it in the 500 and the 200, but and hopefully place at state. I would hope to make it on the podium. That'd be.
And the
really
podium
good.
is how big at state? It's
I think it's about 8 spots.
talking top 8.
Top 8. So.
So is it more about placement, or is it more about time for you? I mean, you're looking at PRs, or
It's kind of neither, just because I really want to focus on how I swam it, like the technique and the strategy that I put into it. And then I focus on the time. But placement, it's a cool thing to think about and for it to actually happen, but technique is really important to me, first and foremost, so.
Jersey, same question for you. Is it more about where you place at state, or is it more about some of your events and what your personal records are for times?
Mostly it's kind of half and half, my personal best and also technique. I like to focus a lot on my technique at practice and always train my best so I can get a new PR. And it's a nice feeling when I get both.
Very cool. And we mentioned again, you've both had very esteemed careers so far, and it's only going to get better, and Coach is even shaking her head yes. Grace, we've talked to you about this before. Your sister Kelly obviously was on the team and won a state championship.
Right.
She's swimming right now at Washington State University.
Right.
Have you started to give thought to where you might want to swim in college, or is it too early still?
Since I was little, Washington State has always been like the school that, you know, because my dad went there, and it's always been pushed kind of onto us. Like I'm a Cougar from when I was born, so my ultimate goal is to swim at Washington State and attend there. But I just want to see what happens, you know, see what coaches reach out and whoever would like to meet with me. So.
Are you getting a little push from big sister? Is she wanting to swim with you in college?
A little bit, not too much. She wants me to find where I want to go, but it would be amazing if I got to swim with her.
And we should ask you, how's she doing over there?
She's doing great. She really likes it. She loves her coach, and her friends are great. So she's having a good time.
So she's getting a nice endorsement there, and good to hear she's doing well. And then Jersey, for you, again, only a junior, but have you started thinking about that a little bit, and what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I've looked at Wazoo, and I looked at Boise State in Idaho a couple of times, and I'm looking at the swim team, the field I want to go into for a career, and yeah.
And you mentioned to me before the cameras were rolling, you're going to take some trips in the spring. Is that the plan?
Yeah, we're going to take, during spring break, we're going to go to like a couple different colleges, see the campus, the pool, meet some of the coaches there, and I'm really excited for that.
So an exciting time indeed for both of them and their teammates, and it sounds like it's a fun team too. So, Coach, best of luck to you guys throughout the season. I think it's the best is yet to come. We should mention you're going to be at the Snohomish Aquatic Center on Tuesday, going against Glacier Peak and Edmonds-Woodway. Fun pool, a big pool to swim in too, right? So,
Very big.
Yeah.
Grace, more lanes at that pool than some of the others around here. Is that right?
Oh yeah, there's 10 lanes. They usually use 8. So, and at a lot of pools they only use 6. So that just means bigger heats and more competition. So.
And Jersey, for you, do you like the bigger heats? Do you like the?
Yeah, it helps me push and do my best I can.
So we'll see how they do again on Tuesday. And they're back at the Linwood pool on Thursday if anybody wants to get out and watch Meadowdale. Kamiak and Linwood will also be there with them, 2:45 start time. So we certainly encourage folks to get out there and watch that. Julie, Grace, and Jersey, thank you very much for coming in, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you for having us.
Another fun interview for us. We certainly enjoyed having Coach Wakeman as well as Jersey and Grace in studio. And one other sport we haven't mentioned yet, cross country, and it was a big one over the weekend. The Nike 12th Annual Twilight taking place at Cedar Crest Golf Course. This is an event that I think a lot of the runners look forward to as it takes place late afternoon, early evening. Golf course all lit up with lights throughout the course. And some of our runners doing very well, I might add. In the big run of the night for the boys, 208 runners in the field. We had 3 Edmonds-Woodway Warriors finish in the top 6. Let's go ahead and read off their names really quickly here. Lucas LaCambra finished in 4th place. Again, 5,000-meter race. He had a time of 15 minutes and 40 seconds. Dylan Hartano was right behind him in 5th place, 2 seconds back. And 2 seconds behind Dylan in 6th place, Diego Pereza. So guys, congratulations on a very nice effort over there at the golf course up in Marysville. And then on the girls' side of things, 15 girls running in the final race. Stephanie Roblewski from Edmonds-Woodway finishing in 18th place, and her Warrior teammate, Alyssa Hershey, taking 27th place. So another great job again from the Warriors runners, a group that we continue to talk about throughout the fall, and I'm sure we'll have plenty more to say about them as we get closer towards districts and ultimately towards the state finals later in the year. And that will do it for another edition of This Week in High School Sports. Once again, we thank our guests for coming in today, and we appreciate you for watching. Big week coming up as we start to get into the later part of football season. Volleyball, soccer, other sports starting to contend for playoff spots as districts are not that far away. We're more than halfway through the fall season already. Hard to believe, right? So we'll keep following. We'll keep bringing you results and interviews throughout the course of the year. Thanks for watching.